Hey, this is Troy from Planet 76. We've got some really good Sixers-focused content coming your way today. Make sure you subscribe to the pod so you can be in the know when we release new content. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to Planet 76 podcast. I'm your co-host, Michael from Trust to Love. Troy's back with us for this episode. This week, not really, because, I just recorded an episode a few days ago. But we're back. Episode 26 is back. And before we get started, make sure you go subscribe to the podcast. Go follow us on Instagram. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. I think our YouTube is doing pretty well, actually. I just checked a few days ago, and things seem to be going very well on there. So if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, make sure you go check us out. Again, this is episode 26. We are steamrolling through.
That's right.
And Troy, welcome back. It's good to have you back.
Thanks, man. Good to be back.
Yeah.
I've missed a lot of Sixers action lately. I was away, and luckily, I missed some losses, some uneventful week. We've had a lot of positive vibes on Planet 76, and this one is, we haven't won in between episodes.
Yeah.
Currently on a 4-game skid. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get into the big West Coast road trip that the Sixers have coming up starting tomorrow. We're recording right now on the 15th of November. Sixers are going to be on the road for over a week. First at the Jazz tomorrow night, Tuesday the 16th, and then all the way up to the Warriors on the 24th. So approaching Thanksgiving then, and here we go. It's going to be interesting. We're going to get into that, give some predictions on what we think how that's gonna pan out, that road trip, and we're sitting at 8-6. I'm hoping they don't fall below 500.
That would be very unfortunate.
So I can't believe we're already 14 games into the season, but so why don't you, pretty much what I know about the Sixers week was that Tyrese Maxey looked good. I saw his first game where he dropped 30-something against, God, who was that, where we barely lost?
A few games we barely lost.
Right, yeah,
actually, every single game this past week we barely lost.
I think early part of last week, it wasn't the Raptors, it was before the Raptors.
Bucks or Knicks?
Bucks. Yeah, he went off against the Bucks. And I think that was the last one I watched that I was able to catch. So fill me in. Fill us in. What's going on for the Sixers? 4-game skid.
Yes, so 4-game losing streak, unfortunately. No Embiid for the past week. My scientific hypothesis is that he will be back before the weekend, maybe earliest Thursday. So we're hoping he comes back at that point, in between that time area, that space of time. But no Embiid, no Thibault still. Isaiah Joe just came back on Saturday, I believe, and Harris just came back on Thursday against the Raptors. Again, dropped 2 games in a row to the Bucks and Knicks, and then the Raptors and then Pacers. They were at Indiana on Saturday, and really not too much, just weaknesses and some low points that will be made up for with Joel Embiid. Defense in the paint, scoring, literally scoring, because we lost each game by, I believe, I want to say.
Yeah, I was about to say. So
stats here.
We lost by 5.
Less
we lost
than
by
7
6,
in each game, I believe.
9 and 7. So every game was 3 possessions or less in this 4-game skid.
Yeah. So Embiid definitely makes up for that, and I think a lot of us are on the same page with the fact that having Embiid makes the world of difference for this team on both ends of the floor, and just in terms of impact, making the game easier for the guys around him. And to be honest, the team, even with Embiid, this team is still lacking in terms of the roster. Because again, Thibault's still not back. Harris just came back on Thursday, and Isaiah Joe just came back on Saturday, which they did lose again to the Pacers. But Harris had 32 and 11, which was nice to see, especially coming back. Yeah, especially coming back from coronavirus, whatever stuff, health thing.
Yeah. So, okay, I lied. I caught and I might be the reason to blame. So Friday night against the Raptors, I caught the last minute and a half.
It was Thursday.
Or Thursday. Was it Thursday?
Yeah.
Who'd we play Friday?
There was no game Friday.
There was no game Friday.
No. Saturday was Indiana.
Oh, okay.
I unfortunately
You're
did
right.
not catch that whole game either, but
Thursday.
I did see most of it.
So Thursday, my brother got married on Saturday. Thursday we had some family dinner thing, and I rushed back up to the room because I knew the game was ending. I turned it on with a minute and a half left. Sixers are winning.
Yeah.
And I don't think they scored again. Raptors hit 2 back-to-back threes in the corner and kind of put that one away. And it was
corner
just
threes.
Why'd I turn
were
this on?
Killer.
Yeah.
Against the Raptors, they have guys that just somehow become 100% 3-point shooters from the corner. Now Fred VanVleet was responsible for many of those, and he is a good 3-point shooter. But some of the corner threes they were making were like, how are they making all these shots? It was wild.
So we've introduced a player of the week in previous episodes. However, this is a winless week. Do we want to give that out? And is there an obvious choice, or what's your take? I'm gonna let you take this one.
I forgot to do player of the week in my episode. But yeah, I mean, player of the week.
There's something that stands out on this list to me.
Shout out of the week, right?
Who?
I said we got player of the week and shout out of the week.
Shout out of the week, yeah.
Okay, player of the week. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Tyrese Maxey again. I think one of us gave it to him a couple weeks ago, but he's just been really good. He's just been really, really good, and I don't really have many complaints about him. Anything that I would take away from his game are things that I've been talking about and we've been talking about since the offseason even.
Right.
Things like his jumper, sometimes his shot selection. But other than that, very efficient. I think he only had... There was a stretch where I think it was 2 or 3 games in a row where he had 0 turnovers in each game. And in the past 3 games, he's scored 88 points total. He had 2 games in a row where he scored 30 plus.
Yep.
31 and 33. So this was like, wow, this kid is good.
Yep. Yeah, he's kind of put the league on notice, I think, this past week, especially, like you mentioned, 88 in 3 games for Tyrese. I mean, you love to see it. I love to see it. Sixers fans love to see it. People that root for Kentucky like to see it. People, NBA fans like to see it. I think he's a pretty likable kid. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's doing well. I'm happy that he's, because we talked about it even a few weeks ago, just kind of his start to the season was good. There were some areas where it was like, okay, it's just kind of different seeing him in this role. Now I think he has adjusted to the role he's in, and I think we have adjusted to seeing him in that role. And it's showing. I hope that he can score 88 in the next 3 games and they're 3 wins or something like that. But then he'll even get more notice. But it's just good. It's just good. I think he's definitely a player of the week. Shout out of the week. I have no idea. Like I said, missed a lot of ball. I don't know if you have anything in particular, a stat, a person, a coach, a mistake. That's the question. Can there be negative shout-outs?
I mean, I feel like there definitely we haven't brought that yet, but I feel like there definitely can be.
There could be, yeah.
Depending
this might
on
be
the
week
situation.
To do it. Yeah.
Is this the week to do it? Let me think about that for a second. I really have to think about that. I mean, if I'm kind of grasping, a couple people were asking me like this past week, like, would you give credit to Doc Rivers? I was like, I mean, I don't know. I guess because like he still was able to have the Sixers keep it close. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. But again, the players are responsible for that for the most part.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, I might give it to Shake.
Okay.
Because he's played very well recently. I feel like it may have gone a little bit under the radar. I believe he had 22 against the Bucks. I'd give it a shake. I'll give it a shake. Maybe next week we'll have, depending on what happens this
On
week
this road trip.
again in the Western Conference, maybe we'll have a negative one for the next episode.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Okay, I like it. So, before we get, again, we're going to focus in the back half on the West Coast road trip we've got coming up, featuring the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Blazers, the Kings, and the Warriors, all across a span of 8 or so days. So we're going to get to that. But, again, we'd have to be foolish not to talk about how we're feeling about the Sixers. Where are they at? Are we concerned? Are we worried? They were 8-2. They were number 1 in the East. They currently are 6th in the East. Again, everyone's within a game or two, but 6th in the East after this 4-game losing streak. So, I'll ask you. I mean, we know that I don't have the numbers in front of me, but across 14 games, I don't know how many starting lineups they've used, how many different lineups they've used. I'd be willing to say it's close, if not double digits, 10 different starting lineups across 14 games. So I guess, I don't think we're hitting the panic button because it's not like we have every single team the same and then we're losing these games. But is there a little concern despite being shorthanded? I don't know if we put a percentage on it. How much are we okay, this is because the Sixers that were shorthanded, they were going to lose this game. I don't know. Let's just chat about that for a moment.
So, I think a lot of, we were talking about this on recording about Joel Embiid, right?
Yeah.
Just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, with him being out.
Yes. I think a lot of whatever concerns there may be, I think a lot of that comes from a huge gaping hole in the Sixers, literally because Joel Embiid is huge, and also I guess metaphorically because there is a huge hole in the Sixers because of what Joel Embiid provides. I think that could be a cause of concern in terms of how these guys play without him, which again, Joel Embiid does a lot for this team. So when he's not on the court and some guys aren't stepping up, it's pretty obvious why the Sixers are not playing well because they don't have their superstar MVP, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, All-Star, best center in the league. So it's going to show, and I think these past 4 games, like I mentioned, and Troy mentioned as well, they lost the game by 3 possessions or less each time. And to be quite honest with you, Joel Embiid is going to make up for that. So I really think a lot of what we're seeing and a lot of the negative kind of lows of the Sixers right now are due to them not having Embiid. And of course everyone else, because Harris did just come back too, and he still is adjusting a little bit, especially with this 32-11 game, is a great sign to see.
Yeah. Yeah, we're missing Joel. Point blank period. With him, it's a difference. With him, I promise you we're winning some of those games. I promise you we're not 8-6 if Joel is fully healthy. And it's not like you look at the roster, you look at numbers, you look at different even areas. I can't think of any player that I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks terrible and he's making us lose these games. At least I can't. I mean, we've noted the backcourt, which was something to keep an eye on for all Sixers fans. Tyrese and Shake Milton just got the Player of the Week and the Shout-Out of the Week on Planet 76. So it's like they're doing okay, and that's the backcourt. Andre Drummond's looked good. Tobias had 32 and 11 after he was, on the COVID list for 10 days. And, Matisse has been out forever, it seems like. Seems like he's been on that thing for 30 days. That's going to be good to get him back. He's not back yet, right?
No, not yet, I don't think. No, he's definitely not. Not even guessing, he's definitely not.
Right. So, I mean,
I think
we get him back, we get Joe back. Feel good.
I think he may have been... I think he currently is on the same timeline as Embiid.
Okay.
Although it may not. He may be back before
a little
Embiid.
Earlier, yeah, maybe a day or two. It seemed like it was every day. Tobias was first. Then you got Joe. Then you got Matisse. Then you got Joel. So it was interesting. Yeah. I don't. Not that I've been keeping up across the league and who they're starting every night, but I don't know that it's affected other teams quite as much. I saw some things saying, like, we're happy it's the Sixers getting it out of the way early. You know, if it's going to happen, let it happen early, I guess. So, and when they've, been all together, when we've only been missing one or two guys, they've looked good. I mean, there's been our last podcast episode was called, the 7 Sixers, because they only played 7 players, and they only could play 7 so if I were to put like a percentage on it, and I'll get your take, so, out of 100 total percent, what percent is concern, what percent is, okay, this is due to just the lack of roster? I would say it's like 15% concern, 85% due to just the circumstances that they've been put in.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking 20, but then I thought, you know what, that's way too high. I think I would probably say 15 to 10-ish%, 10 on the lower end, because again, it's early season, stuff like this happens, and like you mentioned, it's happening everywhere. The Bucks haven't had Chris Middleton for a week. I think it's been a week officially.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow I think it might be a week.
Well, yeah, he didn't play us, and that was an early game last week, so.
And just guys are missing games. It happens. It just happens, and I think you also just mentioned it as well. I'm happy it's early season and not in the middle of the playoffs or anything like that. The Sixers, even though it happened last year, have been, for the most part, quite lucky in terms of injuries and health of their players. So, again, I think it's important. Not important. I don't want to say important. That's a horrible word to use right now. I think it's a good. I think it's. Would I even say good? I just think it's happening now.
Right.
I'd rather it happen now than early or later in the season when it gets closer to playoffs.
Yeah. So I guess the short answer of that is no. Are we worried about the Sixers?
Yes.
No.
Not at all.
Do we wish that they were 12-2, not 8-6? Of course. But it's, you're going to lose games in the NBA, and they're dealing with it. They're going to get back healthy. Luckily, it's not like we've lost anybody for the season yet, or stuff like that. I mean, there's other teams that are losing guys for significant time. Ours have mostly been, health and safety protocol kind of thing, and that's, to be honest, out of their control. So, what are you going to do? So I think that's fair. I do think that if we get on here next week or two and, Sixers keep losing games, then that percentage will go up, and fairly so.
Yeah.
We've got Tobias back now. Tease will be back soon. Joel will be back hopefully soon. So it's, if we keep trending downward, then, yeah, that percentage will go upward. So just something to keep an eye on, and the answer is no here on Planet 76. So calm down.
Hold your horses.
Hold your horses. Stop sending Michael nasty DMs and leaving nasty comments saying trade the team.
Thankfully,
things are going to be okay.
Thankfully, and actually quite surprisingly, I haven't seen a lot of that in my DMs and comments, as opposed to prior seasons where everybody's like, blow up the team, it's over, halfway through the season, and even before. So I'm glad that Sixers fans are kind of,
realizing.
What do I even say? Kind of, mellowing out a little bit over this kind of thing, because it happens.
Right, and it's understandable. And I don't know, I forget the kind of wording you've used on Trust the Love posts after games lately, like last couple weeks after losses. But you worded it very well in, you don't call him a cupcake. You call it, like for the Bucks, you said,
oh yeah, Mickey Mouse win.
A Mickey Mouse win. Yes.
People on Twitter have back in the bubble. I'll tell you the origin of that. Okay. Back in the bubble, when people on Twitter, when NBA streams was like at an all-time high because there were no fans in the bubble, all that stuff, whatever.
Right.
Everybody, and it was in Disney World.
Right.
It was in Florida, so people were like, "Oh, that's such a Mickey Mouse win, like easy, basically a cakewalk." They're synonymous, basically. So I love it. I mean, to be honest, we didn't have our team, so it was an easy win. Mickey Mouse win for the Bucks, Knicks, and I guess Raptors too.
Raptors.
So
Pacers.
Yeah, really.
Mickey Mouse wins, baby. Yeah, every time. Not every time, but a lot. And I was like, yes. Because it and who that could have honestly helped, the negative posts, the negative comments, negative DMs, because maybe you simply saying that and then kind of explaining it afterward in your description and your caption, maybe that calms people down and says, okay, you know what, Michael's right. Okay,
maybe
we didn't have half our team.
I don't know.
Because, I don't know what percentage of people are watching these games that follow you or interact with you on Instagram, but, if someone can't catch a game and you just post Sixers lose 115-109 and that's it, maybe they don't know who even played in that game, and maybe that causes them to have a little more anxiety, a little more anger. So it's like, all right, calm down. We didn't have half our team, and so this is okay. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Shall we move on to our road trip? Are you ready to stay up for all these games on the West Coast?
I'm going to, disclaimer, and I'm going to say this on my page too. I am probably not going to stay up for half these games. Maybe the Nuggets one on Thursday, but
it's 9,
sleep is my friend. So I need it. So
I'm actually looking forward to these because I am a night owl, and this will be easy. This will be cake, baby.
Okay.
And a lot of times those games that are early I can't catch because I'm working, busy, but 10 p.m. starts, you bet.
Wow.
You bet. So we've been looking ahead to this West Coast road trip for a while now, a few episodes ago when we were like kind of running through the schedule. It's here. It starts tomorrow. Jazz, Nuggets, Blazers, Kings, and Warriors. So where shall we go with this to finish off?
So I have in our outline our predictions for this, wins and losses. And a lot of that is dependent upon if Embiid is back, obviously, because that's basically been the highlight of this episode. And Thibault, of course, and a healthy Isaiah Joe. Obviously, depth is necessary. But it doesn't look like he's going to be here tomorrow night with the Jazz. So the Jazz are a really very good regular season team. Not playoffs.
And they're sitting at a similar record as us right now, I believe.
Yes. So I probably will have to say the Sixers, it's going to be a tough game, but I think the Jazz will best them in that game. I'm hoping, again, according to my scientific hypothesis, that Joel Embiid will be back for the Nuggets game. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And in that case, I am predicting a win for the Sixers on November 18th.
Okay.
And then Blazers Kings, quite honestly, should be wins. Even without Embiid, these teams are not very good. I'll get flamed for that probably at some point, I know, but it's okay. And then Warriors, that's going to be a fantastic game. Yeah. If that's a Tuesday, I will stay up for that game because I actually love watching Steph Curry, but also the Sixers, obviously. I'm a Sixers fan. So I will stay up for that game, but that's tough.
Is that what day of the week? That's the day before Thanksgiving, baby.
Thanksgiving. So hopefully I will have a win to be thankful for the next day.
That's right. So cook it up, Chef Curry. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. So what are you thinking win on that one? So what the later we get, we get to the Warriors on the 24th, hopefully we're like, if not full strength, very close.
Yeah. So, man, I'd love to predict a win, but also the Warriors are very good. They're very good.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be tough.
I think I'm gonna go with the Sixers. I think I'm gonna go with the Sixers in a close game. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. So luckily there's no back-to-backs on this trip, just every other day, which is good. 16th, 18th, 20th, 22nd, and 24th. So you got them, 3-2?
Yes. I would love that.
That's literally stole the words out of my mouth. That's what I was about to say. So I'm not going to go through, but when I was looking at this, when you were going through, I was like, okay, what would I love and what do I think? I would love to go 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good teams there, and there's some possible trap games. Damian Lillard might go off. Who knows?
True.
He's about time. He should. He ain't done nothing yet. So, yeah, I would love to go 3-2, but I'm thinking 2 and 3. Where those are going to come from, I'm not sure. But 2 and 3 would still keep us above 500, head above water a little bit. Put us at 10 and 9. Already almost a quarter of the way through the season coming home after that trip. So, yeah, there's some tough Jazz, Nuggets. Jazz are tough at home.
Yeah.
Nuggets
yes,
are tough at home.
Great regular season team.
Yeah.
Not
and then there's
playoffs,
Golden
though.
State. Yeah, Golden State on ESPN the day before Thanksgiving. That should be fun.
Awesome game.
That should be fun. Yeah. I would love to see Embiid play against Jokic.
Oh, definitely.
Hopefully we get that.
Last year we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because he had COVID.
Right.
Oh, I was one of these days I'm going to find Adam Silver's email and I'm going to send him a very nice long email about how much he has inconvenienced the Sixers and my viewing pleasure. So he's going to be hearing from me one of these days.
Yes, he is.
He will not like what he sees from me.
He'll give you a fine.
Yeah. He'll fine me for violating something.
That's right. He'll put a fine or a ban on Planet 76. I wish Adam Silver would.
I wish he would try because he will fail. He will fail.
All right. So yeah, Planet 76, Sixers. We're still doing all right.
Not too shabby.
Tough road trip ahead. Hey, I hope you can stay awake for those. And I guess we'll see you next time on Planet 76.
Yep.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go get some wins. Peace.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Planet 76 podcast. Please consider subscribing. It helps us out a lot and lets you know that you enjoy what we post. So thank you and peace out.